So welcome to our call. I'm really excited to have all of us here together. We've got Carly DeCarlo's team as well as the Bombshell Dynasty sort of merged into one. And that's because that's the best part about Beachbody is you get to sharpen each other, whether or not you're directly related to each other or not. We're kind of all on Team Beachbody as a whole, and we all have ways that we can grow each other. We're lucky enough to next week now have Carly join this call, and you guys are welcome to join again as well, same link. She's gonna share part of her story and some of the things she feels she's the strongest at. And I was trying to decide what I was gonna do the call on, and I have some information that's maybe repeat for some of my teammates, but judging from the amount of newbies we have on this call, I really felt it was important because it's something that gets overlooked a lot, and that is going from a brand new coach with no market, no, real identity to what a coach is, to then having your own brand. It's something that I feel has been essential in my success. It's helped me to find the people I was looking for and find those people and work with them and have this amazing culture that we have created within our team, and I know you guys are creating within your team. So in the little pictures up here, we have the Bombshell Dynasty. We have a Bombshell Blue Night at Summit that we do, and it's sort of just a fun homage to the color that I basically made up and stole from Tiffany. It's called Bombshell Blue. It sounded really cute together, and I like the color. So that was part of the branding of the Bombshell Dynasty. Was I wanted to come up with a color, I wanted to come up with a logo, which you see in the middle, that I've updated once, and I'm thinking about updating again. And I also showed my husband because he has become branded by the fact that he's a great cook. And without ever being a chef, he is somebody that people want, to make a recipe book and to create things to share on social media. And that's just another part of just branding yourself and creating something that people, when they think, when they think Starbucks, or when they think coffee, they think Starbucks, or when they think, home workouts, they think Beachbody. What you want to do is figure out what your brand is and start to have that thing become synonymous with your name. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. For those of you who don't know me, and I'm imagining there's a lot, I always feel weird about telling my story because I feel like I've told it so many times, but then I have to remember that there are so many new people, and I don't want you to miss out on the fact that I didn't start where I am now. I was not a top coach 4.5 years ago. In fact, I was like completely flat broke. My story goes as such. I was a bartender. My husband at the time, who was just somebody I was dating for a few months, was also a bartender. And 3 months into our relationship, we got pregnant. And it was honestly one of the biggest, one of those moments in your life where you're just like, why me? Why is this happening to me? I had all these big plans for my life, things I wanted to do. I wanted to be so different from my family. I come from 2 alcoholic parents, we were very, very poor. We didn't have a lot of money. It was $20,000 a year with a family of 6. And so a lot of struggling going on within our family, and I vowed to be different. And then when I found out I was pregnant, I ended up just basically having to pick up bar shifts when I could. I was that girl that had to go and work the bar with a pregnant belly, and that's just was my worst nightmare at the time. Ended up that little girl in the very far bottom corner she was 2 months premature, and she suffered from a brain bleed that gave her basically a 90% chance of cerebral palsy, and just kind of put everything in perspective. And nothing that I was before worried about, I was not worried about anymore. All I cared about is her health, and somehow, her becoming this miracle baby that she wouldn't have to struggle her whole life, and that I could give her, a bright future. And with a premature baby comes a lot of hospital bills. And I did not have, at 23 years old, which I know there's a lot of youngins in here, I didn't have insurance. And so I bought insurance afterwards, but it only covered, I think, the first $100,000. It ended up there's about 400,000 other medical bills that needed to be paid, and they wanted me to pay it. So just that picture in the middle with the girl holding her head, that felt like my daily life of how am I ever going to pull my way out of this? And I just remember the credit score for me was like a huge deal because both of my parents at separate times had filed bankruptcy in their past. And it was like, I'm not going to do that. I will not file bankruptcy. But at the point where I looked at that little girl on the left-hand side, and then I looked at those bills on the right-hand side, I thought, I need a clean slate for this little girl. I need to build my way out of this. And so little by little, I let go of that credit score, and I ended up filing for bankruptcy at, I think I was 25 years old at the time. And it was my lowest point because I thought, wow, you ended up just like your parents. And now what do you do? Because all I knew how to do is bartend. And to get back in control of one area of my life, I decided to do P90X after seeing an infomercial for it. And I thought it was completely baloney. Like, I did not believe that those people actually got those results. They were definitely photoshopped, or they paid them or something. But as I went on YouTube and I saw all these people's transformations, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. And I did. I bought it through the 3-payment plan, and we ended up doing it. I failed 4 times because I could not believe how hard it was. I could not believe that yoga day was like the hardest day, and I was so out of shape. And I just couldn't find it within myself to push past my comfort zone until I decided, you know what, I'm going to stop competing against the people in the workout DVD and stop beating myself up, and I'm just going to do my own personal best, and I'm going to beat it every time. So if I could only do core synergist, if I can only do 10 minutes the first week, next week, that next Monday when I do that workout, I'm going to do 15, or I'm going to do 16, or whatever it was. Every week I tried to do it just a minute more than I was doing before. And through that process of being my own personal best, not comparing myself to others, and I started to track my journey on YouTube, I started to succeed. And by the end of that 90 days, I was in the best shape of my life. And I felt this like joy, this pride, this excitement about the changes I had made. And that they weren't just physical changes. I'm not telling you guys anything new, but mentally I was stronger. And I had realized that, gosh, Lindsay, if you put your mind to something and you just chip away at it, look what you've done in 3 months. Imagine what you could do in 3 years. And so I ended up having this YouTube transformation, knew nothing about coaching. And these women started to write me and say that I was their inspiration, that they had purchased P90X because of my video. And this is not significant weight loss here, people. This is like 15 pounds. You know, I've seen some of these weight loss transformations, amazing. But just because you don't have one of those drastic transformations, please don't believe that you can't change people's lives or that you can inspire them, because my video was completely thrown together. I had lost like 15 pounds, like I said. It was nothing special compared to the other videos, but for some reason it connected to the right people and it inspired them. So I just wanted to throw that in there. So anyway, I started having these emails come in, and I called Beachbody to find out if they had a referral program after much persuasion from my husband saying that I should, and me thinking he was stupid. And lo and behold, they told me about coaching. They didn't tell me it was network marketing. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have signed up. And I signed up for $40, and I never did anything with it for 9 months. It sat under my desk, and I knew nothing of what it is. And then 9 months down the road, I had just sort of started going back to church and finding my way and trying to figure out, pray my way out of my situation. And I decided, you know, I'm going to surrender everything to God. I'm going to let go of my daughter's health, all the things that were stacked against her. I was going to let go of the debt. I was going to let go of the fear. And I was just going to trust that whatever I'm supposed to do is going to come into my lap. And 2 weeks later, I get a call from somebody in Beachbody after 9 months of never doing anything. And they asked me just to look into the opportunity. It was somebody way in my upline. It would be like me calling somebody in Miguel's team that's 5 levels down from me. It just wouldn't happen. But this person ended up calling me, and I decided to look into it. And lo and behold, I was like, wow, all those women that I had previously talked to that I had said I had inspired then, I bet they've inspired other people since then, since they've completed the program. And I bet those people have inspired people. And it started to click with me that this didn't have to be this network marketing, schemy business thing. What if we all just were in it for the right reasons, and we were just helping people, and we were inspiring them with our own journeys, and we were becoming better because of it, because helping other people was driving us to push further. What if we built a team like that? That was the culture of the team. It didn't have to be the typical network marketing stuff. It could be something special, something unique, where you got all these people together and they actually encouraged each other to dream big and support each other, and they sharpened each other, and they didn't have a scarcity mindset. And, you know, it was a huge dream, and I didn't think, at points I thought, it's probably silly. It's probably not going to do much. But in my heart, there was this little seed planted in me that yes, it was possible and it was going to happen. If you just kept pushing forward, it was going to happen. And so I ended up finding I had no upline. The person that they randomly assigned me to, hello, customer lead right here, in the lead wheel, the person that they assigned me to actually wrote me today saying, for the first time in 4.5 years, saying that she was looking to sell her business. She didn't even know how to log into the Coach Online office. This person is missing out on, I don't even want to know how much money if she was to build the other side. So that's who I was placed under. So obviously she didn't help me with the business. I had to come and do it my own. And I know that was for a purpose though, now looking back, and having that dead leg was to show me that I needed to know that I could do it on my own, and that if I just trusted God, he was going to lead me the right way. I didn't have to didn't have to have my hand held, that I could create the culture that I wanted to create, that I could be the leader that I wanted to be. I just had to really pay attention to how the things that were difficult for me to learn, to make them easier for others. How can I shorten the learning curve for this? How can I make this easier for my team? And that's the mindset that I took on. 4 years later, today, this slide was made a couple weeks ago. I think we're close to 34,000 coaches on the Bombshell Dynasty. Not one of those placed by someone above me. So no matter where you guys are placed, it doesn't matter. You have the opportunity to build a fresh leg in Beachbody and be a completely separate business if you want to. I now have a almost 6-year-old little girl who is so healthy and perfect and awesome in every single way and inspires me every single day. I didn't end up filing for bankruptcy, but since then have been able to, with my Beachbody income, pay for the house that we live in now completely in cash last year. We have no debt. I was the 2013 top coach, and then the top coach of this past year, Lindsay Matway, is from our organization. So it's just obviously completely mind-blowing, and I can't take credit for it because I only was just a willing vessel and decided to keep growing and keep pushing forward. And just like I did that P90X journey right from the get-go, start every day to beat my personal best, to get a little bit better every single day, until now consistently over a period of time in a completely different place than I was, 4.5 years ago. And that is the blessing and the gift that every single one of you guys have. I think the hardest part is the first year can be really challenging. You're putting in, you're sowing seeds that maybe not show up in your commission check just yet. You're investing in people, you're investing in yourself with personal development that you don't necessarily immediately get something out of. And I want you to consider it as if you just bought into a business, like a franchise, something that you are making an investment in, knowing that it will pay you off way more than anyone will ever pay you hourly. I can promise you that it's possible because I'm living it, and it's a gift, and it's the reason why I wake up every single day, and I want to pay that forward to as many people as possible because this business has changed my life. So anyway, I want to talk about the mind shift that I was able, some of the things that made me be able to grow into this place that I am today. Because there's some very key things in here that were the difference makers. So one second. All right, so number one, you have to get rid of the self-defeating story. And this is so important because we all have these backgrounds, right? We have things that we're ashamed of. We have things that were very painful that we've gone through. Some of you guys are going to be more intense than others. What I don't want is for you to hear, if maybe you don't have a very traumatic story, maybe you had a pretty good life, don't think just because you lived a good life compared to someone else that your pain is any less traumatic, because what you experienced is your reality, and your perception is your reality, what you experienced. So no matter what your story is, there are things that you have to overcome. And sometimes, for some people, it's that they did have such a great childhood, and so they expect so much of themselves. For me, it was being polar opposite of my parents. And people would have accepted the fact that I ended up a failure because I had this self-defeating story that I told them of all the reasons why I couldn't succeed. It could be the upline. It could be that I was a high school dropout to take care of my 2 alcoholic parents. And it was a very traumatic story when I made it up in my head. But that story was holding me back because I used it all too readily whenever something became difficult for me not to succeed. It was such an easy out. So whatever you've gone through in the past, I want you to get rid of the fact that that was against you. All those things, if you look back, they were for you. And it's part of your brand, honestly. It's going to be part of your story, the journey of why people are going to be attracted to you. Because I will tell you, anybody who portrays perfection on social media, they're not relatable. You cannot feel that connected to them. Think about the people you are most inspired by. It's always the people that have the biggest comeback stories. It's always the people who have been through things that showed in that hardest place that how strong they are, how diligent and resourceful and faith-based they are, because it's not in someone's great periods where you get to know who they really are. It's when they're going through the thick of trials and adversities and pain that you get to see somebody's truth. And so when you're upright and forthright about your story and you let go of the fact that, oh, this is what happened to me. No, this happened for you. Let's get this straight, because God's going to use that in your life and in the lives of others. Number 2, you got to be the coach you wish to attract. So if you are like, I'm an emerald coach, I want to attract a diamond coach, or I want to attract somebody who gets Success Club 20 every month, but you're only getting 2 or 3 points, let me just go ahead and put it out there, that ain't going to happen. Like attracts like. You are going to attract who you are or who you used to be. So you have to keep setting the example and become the coach you wish to attract. I have not one time attracted a coach that's harder working than me. I've never attracted a coach that is making more, they're putting in more work than I am. You have to be the hardest working coach on your team. And if you're not, you got to step up your game if you want your team to grow and you want to attract different people. I know for me, there was a point in my business where I attracted leaners, not leaders. And these leaners I was attracting is because I was afraid to be a leader, to be more direct. I was cheerleading. Yeah, go, 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 you got this. I was not coaching. I was not telling people the hard truths that they needed to do or to have to grow. And so you got to make sure as a leader, you're stepping up and you're leading by example. Number 3, you got to make things easier for them than they were on you. So even though you guys are either a part of the Bombshell Dynasty or you're a part of Carly's team, that does not matter. I know you guys have awesome resources. You are so spoiled. Trust me, you are so spoiled. But do not take that spoiling for granted. You still have ways that you can make it better. I don't care if you're a coach, diamond coach, 1-star, whatever. You have ways that you can make this even better, that training even better for people to go through in the future. And if we're not constantly working on changing things to make them easier and better for our team, then we are missing out on an opportunity to grow at an even faster pace. You have to look at everything and think, okay, I always get confused about that. Now, you always get confused about that. Then you go and research that, figure it out, and then make it less confusing for someone in the future and share that team-wide. Because by you offering value, you are going to grow your team dramatically, and you're going to make things even easier and even easier to succeed for your future coaches. Number 4, speak your truth unapologetically. I do not censor myself whatsoever. I believe what I believe, I share what I share, and I am A-okay with it. It's the things about me that some people won't like, and that could be the faith stuff, that could be, oh, she only leads with like her bombshell thing. That's okay. I'm not asking for everyone to like me. I'm just asking for those who connect to me to love me. And the only way you're going to make someone love you is if you're speaking your truth, if there's something real to connect to. If it's all hunky-dory and like flowers and rainbows, people still won't like you. So just be you, and you will find and attract the people like you, and your team will flourish because people like you will get you, they will love you, and they will work with you to create an amazing team. Number 5, offer value freely and often. So I am constantly looking for content that adds value to either my team or to the people that are watching me. I don't want my thing to be a big sales pitch all the time. I don't want it always to be an invite, and I also don't want it to always be just pictures of my family. It has to be somewhat of value to have people want to come back and get to know me more or to see what I'm posting. So make sure that what you're putting out there, no matter how it could seem, oh, well, everybody knows that about nutrition or everybody knows that about meal planning. No, you'd be surprised. People don't. And some of the most easy, simple tips that you've learned along the way can offer so much value to someone who's never heard those things. People are constantly confused by nutrition or by fitness and what works and what doesn't work. They don't know. And so if you can kind of make things simple and easy for people and offer value in that area or whatever areas that you also know more information about, people will come to your page and they will start to watch what you're doing because you will make things easier on them. This is an important one. Get rid of the scarcity mentality, okay? We have multiple teams on this team call within the Bombshell Dynasty, within Carly's team, and I have zero fear that as I teach you guys, you're gonna go and steal all my customers. Why? Because there's millions of people out there, millions of people that have never even heard of Beachbody, that have never tried a workout program, that have never heard of Shakeology, that have never heard of me, who have never heard of you, millions. So please do not think that because your one friend is a coach or you know 5 other coaches in your town that all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're running out of people. No, that's silly. We're not running out of people. There are so many people out there. And this is a social media based company which offers tens of millions of people at your fingertips. Anytime you want to find somebody, you could. Somebody you've never talked to before. So you gotta let go of the scarcity mentality. That will get you in major trouble and you'll live a fear-based coach life, which stinks, versus a life of abundance, of realizing that there are so many people out there that need someone just like you. They're waiting for someone just like you because they don't connect to me. Or they're waiting for just someone like you because they don't connect to Carly. Whatever it might be, your story, you doing those other things we just talked about, they will find you and they will love you and you will change their life. Look to others as inspiration, not competition. Compete with yourself. That's been the whole theme of my story, was compete with yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. The moment you start to look around and you start to think, oh my gosh, well, Melanie's really good with the blog. Maybe we need to start a blog. Oh gosh, Carly's really good at Instagram. I really need to work on my Instagram. Oh my gosh, Lindsay's really good at Facebook. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do videos like Lindsay. Or whatever, you start to compare yourself. You're gonna freak yourself out and you're gonna cause yourself to quit because you can't compare yourself to other people. They have their own unique ways of doing things. You have to find the things that connect most to you and you stick with those things long enough to allow yourself to succeed. I'm not doing everything, okay? I don't do all areas of social media. I cover the 2 or 3 that I connect to most, that I most enjoy, and I learn the crap out of how to do those social media platforms because it's my job to learn, right? So if you really connect to Instagram, then you find all the people that are being successful with Instagram, follow those people, take note of what they're doing, find different trainings online, YouTube, Instagram trainings. You don't have to necessarily go by Chalene Johnston Instagram your brand thing. There's so much free content out there. All you have to do is be hungry enough to go look for it and devour that content. Let's see. Ask yourself often, how can I make this better? And is it the best use of my time right now? Okay, so I am not organized at all, but yet I run a team of 33,000 something people. How? Because I constantly ask myself, how can I make this better? And is this the best use of my time? And the best use of my time one is actually really, really good because I notice I tend to gravitate towards certain things. I really love making pick monkey pictures. I like the creative stuff. But I know deep down inside, I need to go make sure I get my workout done. I need to make sure that I'm posting or changing things up in my groups. I need to make sure that I got this in or that in. And I go and tell myself, is this especially my use of my time, to ask myself, are you avoiding something that in reality probably is the most important thing? If you start to do that, you'll notice there's certain things that you like to skip. Do those first, get them over with, and then go to the things and let yourself gravitate towards the things that you love. All right, so branding. I love branding. I never knew that I loved it, but I absolutely do. And I'm so fascinated with how different companies brand themselves and how they work to attach themselves to different niche markets to be able to pull these people in. So I want to share a little bit about how you can find your brand. What you guys can do right now is sort of either open up a document or get out a piece of paper, separate it between similarities and differences. Now, while you're doing that, I'm just going to talk about Disney. Okay, I love Disney. I've got a 6-year-old. We just left Disney this weekend. This is the most genius brand on the planet. They are master marketers. They know their market. They know how to advertise to them. My daughter literally wants every Disney thing before the movie even comes out. Like, we owned every Frozen thing before the movie came out. She was actually Elsa before the movie existed, and nobody knew who she was that year. That's how great they are at marketing to us. You guys have to think the same way. Actually, I go to Disney and I spend way too much money, and I do it happily. How is that? Because of the way they treat you. If you go there, the customer service is phenomenal. They under-promise and over-deliver. They go above and beyond what you would expect. Think about that same thing when you're working with customers. Go above and beyond to make them appreciate the value that you're giving them. Maybe that's an email to remind them of a home direct order that's about to go through. Or maybe it's check-ins on doing something through text to check in with them rather than just posting the assignment for the day and letting it go. Or, maybe it's posting on their wall and showing them some love, or whatever it could be. Anything small touches, any under-promising, over-delivering, people are blown away. That's how you build allegiance to your brand. That's how people start to be like, wow, Carly really takes care of her customers. Like, she treats them so special. I feel so special that she reached out to me, or that she cares enough to do this or that. Disney does a really good job of that. They make you feel special. And I just want you guys to think about that as you're branding these different companies and how they treat their customers and how they build that brand loyalty. So, similarities, all the things that are similar between you and every other coach, I want you to list out. So it could be, we sell Shakeology, we are Team Beachbody coaches, we do fitness programs, whatever those things are. We talk to people, maybe through social media. Those are the similarities of you and Beachbody coaches. And then I want you to think about the differences, the things that set you apart from other coaches. That could be, for me, I was a mother to a premature baby. I have a 6-year-old. I filed for bankruptcy. I am 30 years old. Let's see. Oh, my husband cooks. And it could be all the things that are different. Faith. I lead with my faith. I'm really more direct. So I definitely am not somebody who's going to just color code and rainbow coat things. So all the ways that you're different, you want to list in that differences section. Could be that you love fashion, or you're just obsessed with music and you're a musician yourself. Whatever things, it could be non-related to fitness, think outside the box, that make you want to list in that differences section. And then you have your brand. Your brand is your differences. It's all the ways that make you unique. And that is who you have to lead with. You have to be consistent with your differences. You have to make sure that people know who you are, and what makes you who you are is your differences. If I was to lead with everything that I was similar with every Beachbody coach, I don't stand out. So you have to make sure that you're leading with your differences rather than your similarities. Team culture. So right from the get-go, I made this little thing right here, and it was, what was a bombshell? Because I knew people were going to question what it was. And I knew I had to rebrand it. It was rebranding what a bombshell is. A bombshell can be like a voluptuous woman that is, sexy, and that's what it was before I started with a bombshell. And so I said, okay, well, what is a bombshell to me? And I wrote out a description of what it was. A bombshell is a woman who exudes her light into this world by actively pursuing her greatest potential. She seeks to inspire others by walking the walk, a woman who is beautiful, no matter her age, color, size, or shape, but because she owns her life and lives her truth. A bombshell never lets others determine her destiny. She is a leader, a motivator, and a learner of life. A bombshell's job and sole purpose is to help other women to see and bring out their inner bombshell. Now, once I had that brand, what I had, like my little mission statement of what it was to be a bombshell, I now know how to go and talk about what it is to be a bombshell on social media. I had to take pictures and describe the different variations of the women on our team. And I had to talk about the mission that we have. And I had to talk about, what our team was about and the things that were our core values. What you guys have to do is figure out what is the culture you're looking to create. Doesn't necessarily have to be you're breaking off and building your own brand just yet, but who is your ideal teammate? Who is the person that you would most connect to working with? What are the characteristics that they have? That's when I go into this little baby. My niche market, the person that I am most connected to, the person that when I'm talking on social media, writing a post, that I'm not just throwing it out there to Bob, who's 65, a grandpa of 2, and Denise, who is maybe 55 and 100 pounds overweight, and Becca, who is 32 and a new mom and just wants to find something that she could do with her time now that she's a stay-at-home mom, or, you know, Kelly, who is 18 and in college and major in debt. I cannot talk to all those people at once. So understand that when you looked at those brands in the past couple pages, watch their commercials, watch how they advertise. They have a specific person, a niche in mind that they are advertising to, because they know that they cannot effectively advertise to a whole array of people. You have to focus in on who is most going to connect with you, or who you're going to most connect with. So my niche market is basically 25 to 35 years old. And now that's not to say every person I work with or every person on my team is 25 to 35 years old. Some of them are 50 plus. Some of them are younger than 25. But in general, when I'm talking on Facebook, that's the crowd I'm talking to. They're married or in a serious relationship. Also, doesn't mean that every coach on my team is married or in a serious relationship, but those are some of the things I speak to. A lot of them have young children. She wants to know that she makes a difference, but she doesn't know how. That's a huge part of who I was before Beachbody. So I'm talking to that girl. I'm talking to Lindsay Matway 4.5 years ago, who was lost, had this desire, like I had this thing in my gut that, my gosh, I just know I am made for more than this, but I don't know what. That's the person I'm talking to. They want to grow closer to God. They love fashion and beauty tips. Doesn't mean they don't want to work for the man. They don't want to have to go and submit to living a life of employment where people tell them where to go, who to work with, what to do. You know, they want to live a life of freedom. They want to be independent and to know, even if something was to happen, some major catastrophe, AKA premature baby with $400,000 in medical debt, that they will be okay. And that she thought she'd be further along than she is. I had a major breakdown at 25 because I think we all have an idea of where we think we're gonna be at 25. And I was definitely not at that place. And so I speak to those women that are at that place of, oh my gosh, time is running out. Like, I need to do something with my life because I thought I'd be so much further along than I am. So that's my niche market, and when I'm creating posts, I think about her. What does she need to see? What are the things that inspire her? I decided to create 5 things, 5 areas that I was gonna focus on with my social media, and I was gonna share about these things equally about 20% of the time. That way it never got to be too much of one thing, because if it's me always posting my workout picture, that's just annoying. So I wanted to vary it up. Mine are faith, family, Beachbody, fashion and beauty kind of combined together, and then fitness. And so I go and I add different posts based on these 5 different areas to speak to that girl in the last picture. So if I'm talking about my family, it might be cute pictures of my daughter or funny things she said, or it could be funny or cool ideas like this picture here of taking an old entertainment center and making it into a little kitchen. Because girls in my market look at posts like that and they're like, oh, it's such a good idea, adding value, right? It could be something from faith. It could be something that stood out to me that Joel Osteen said, or it could be a quote that I love and I'll add it onto my picture and give my thoughts on it. Fashion and beauty, it could be a tip of what products I use or something that I really love, or asking for advice. People love to give their advice. For my fitness, I try not to just post the same picture all the time, creating different ways to show things. And so this is a different montage of pictures after a fixed workout. And then Beachbody is just sharing things about the freedom that this company has allowed me. It could be a trip that I'm on that they're paying for. It could be, you know, the fact that I've been in pajamas, probably the same one for the last 5 or 6 days, and all the little cute things and ways that you can share about this without it being an actual invite. So keep that in mind when you're talking about the Beachbody stuff. Is not always does it have to be an invite. It can also just be you sharing the lifestyle and making it fun for people to watch. Coming up with content. I'm sorry, I'm going kind of fast because I want to make sure I get through it all within the hour. So coming up with content, I am not creative every day. There's some days I'm completely blank on, have I literally covered everything I can possibly think of? And I'm sure that happens to you guys too. So what I like to do is 2 different things. Number one, Pinterest is like my gold mine, but I have to set a timer. So I will say, Siri, please set the timer for 30 minutes. Otherwise, I go into like this warp zone and suddenly hours pass in minutes. So make sure you set your time because it's definitely an area that you can lose track. But I have different boards with my different topics. It could be organizational ideas, cute fashion stuff, makeup ideas, my dream home. And I'll share some of those on my Facebook wall when I need content. Or it could be following great people like Joel Osteen or great coaches like Brittany Leggett. When I see something visually stunning that they do, I have a little folder on my desktop that says post ideas. And it's not that I'm going to straight up steal their post. It's just to get inspired in the moments that I don't feel all that inspired. And I like to just basically scroll through that post ideas, find something that connects with me and say, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so how am I going to rewrite this and make it my own? Because P.S., you don't want to steal people's work. A lot of love goes into their posts, so make sure that you make it your own, but it's okay to be inspired by someone. That is the bomb. So just anyway, share ahas. Oprah Winfrey, I'm a big fan. She shared, talks about aha moments. Anytime that I'm reading personal development and there's something that's like, ooh, that's good. Of course, if it's good to me, it'll probably be good to someone else. So I might take something and I highlight it, and I will write that quote out or make a cute picture for it and then share my aha moment. What was the thing that made me like, oh yeah, that was good. That made me realize I'm doing this, this, and this, and I need to improve that. If you speak that out into social media, oh my gosh, people love it. So definitely suggest using your personal development for that. Speak your niche language. So I think about the people that I'm wanting to work with, and I think about what are their fears? What are the things that they're terrified of? Okay, so it's easier for me to think of because I just think about Lindsay 4.5 years ago and how she was scared to death of being average, to be honest with you. That was the scariest part to me, to just end up like everyone else. That's why I love that Heroes song that I played right before the call, because that is my biggest fear in life. I don't want to take this amazing, beautiful life that God gave me and just do okay with it. I want to do great with it. I want to do something big. I want to know that when I left, I left with nothing else to give. And so when I am speaking on social media, I'm speaking to that fear in my niche market because I want to share that I had that fear. I could not stand the thought of spending one more day going through the motions. I can't stand one more day of living paycheck to paycheck. I can't stand one more day of not being able to be present with my little girl and missing out on moments that I'll never be able to get back. Those are fears that my niche market has, and I speak to those because I want to awaken something within them. Sometimes people need a little shake for them to snap out of it and realize you've got to change something if you want your life to change. What are the things that are most important to them? So obviously for my niche, it would be to do something great with their life, but also their kids and their family, and being able to, when their daughter comes to them, she says she wants to ride horses. She wants to be an equestrian or whatever, that it will never have to be, I'm sorry, we can't afford that. Because I heard that my whole life, and it broke my heart because there's a lot of things that I was never able to pursue because they had no money to do it. So what are the things that are most important to your niche market? Is it paying off student loan debt? Is it bringing their husband home because he's in the military and they fear, him going on deployment? Or is it getting back in control of their life? Or whatever the things that are most important to them, you speak to those things in your post. What holds them back from for living their dreams? What are the things that hold them back? It could be, a lot of times, money, not having the ability, not having any time. So you speak to those things, and you also speak about what most excites them about living their dreams. So all the things that, give them those butterflies in their stomach, about knowing that every single day you get to put your hand on someone else and make a difference. That's something for me that really excites me. What excites me about living my dreams is being able to close my eyes and point on a map and go anywhere that I want to. or I'm very, very spontaneous and I don't like plans. So literally waking up in the morning and saying, what do you feel like doing? And being able to go do it. I speak to that in my posts because I know girls like me, oh my gosh, there's just nothing else that I'd rather do than wake up and decide exactly what I want to do that day. So answer all these questions and you'll unlock the mystery of marketing to your niche, and you'll realize there's some verbiage that you could be putting into your invites or into your daily posts that would draw in those people. And automatically, just like the commercials do for Disney or for Coca-Cola or for whatever, they're drawing in the people that have those attributes that they're looking for, that they know will love their brand. And the same thing will happen to you. These are two different advertisements. One is for my challenge group, and I changed my challenge group to fit me because I realized, why am I doing challenge groups that are fitness and nutrition based when that is like, of all the things Beachbody is to me, those are the least important to me. I only ended up in this company because I needed to get back in control of one area of my life, but I don't have an extreme love of everything fitness. What I do have an absolute adoration and obsession with is personal development and faith. And so I was like, what am I doing? Why am I trying to run challenge groups like everybody else when I could be adding more value by giving people what is most important to me, and also including in the fitness and the health part, because that is important. It's just not where I add the most value. So maybe for you, it's not that you have the most passion for health and fitness, but maybe you're trying to run a health and fitness challenge. Maybe you're really good at organization, or maybe you're really good at different tips for moms. You know, whatever it might be that you're most likely to add the most value, don't be afraid to throw that into your challenge and do a theme challenge or do something that makes you excited about it. I find the more excited I am about the challenge, the better coach I am. And so I decided to change my name to the Passion Project. That's everything that incorporates everything that I'm obsessed with, which is the faith, the freedom, the fitness, and the friends that you get along with this company. And as soon as I did that, everything changed. All of a sudden, I attracted all of these women that were exactly where I used to be, who were excited for change, who loved the idea of being surrounded by like-minded friends. Some of them are probably in this call right now. And of those 28 women, 22 of them decided to become coaches on their own. They decided to become coaches because they couldn't imagine not giving someone else what they had just been given. They could not imagine moving forward and doing this over and over and over again. That is the importance of leading with your brand, of leading with your passions, and finding people that you're most connected with. And these are some of my Passion Project girls that you're seeing post below. They're amazing, and we have such a bond because it was so much bigger and so much deeper than fitness. Then you see Melanie Mitra over here. She's doing a sneak peek. She's leading with her brand. Her brand is Busy Moms. Her brand is a stay-at-home mom. And so she's leading with the different things that those people will connect with, wanting to draw those people in because that's who she works best with. That's who is going to understand where she's coming from the most. So whatever your thing is, make sure that you are leading with that, and don't be afraid if it looks different from everyone else. That's when you know you're doing something right. My challenge to you, focus on being more interested than interesting. This is something I heard Carly say on her call this past week, and something I've been throwing at my team forever, because the biggest deal in life right now for you guys is to make people feel like they matter. Their biggest fear is that you just want to sell them something. You know it's something more than that, right? But you've got to make them feel that way. And the only way that you can make them feel that way is by being interested in who they are. What's important to them? What are their fears? You go through those questions with them and you get to know them. When people feel like you take the time to get to know them, they will bend over backwards to do the same for you. And they will love you guys. They'll know, oh my gosh, she's definitely not doing this for the sale. I've seen what a difference she's made in my life. So be more interested than you are interesting. Comment on your friends' posts with the kind of comments that you would like to receive. So if you post a post on Facebook and then you just like keep refreshing to see like, has anybody commented, has anybody commented, has anybody commented? Just because you're a Beachbody coach doesn't mean your friends aren't doing the same thing. Like everybody wants to matter. Everybody wants somebody to like their stuff. So give what you want to receive. If you like to receive comments on your children's posts, post comments on people's children's posts, and don't just be like everyone else and say, oh, cute. Leave something that is unique, that makes you stand out. It's kind of like on your birthday when people are like, HBD. Well, I'm glad you took time to like write on my post, but I will not remember who said that because it doesn't even say happy birthday, but it's like everyone else. But the person who is some random stranger who maybe follows me on Facebook that writes this like 2-sentence really nice thing to me, I'm like, oh, I love that person. I want to go to their Facebook and see who they are, because we are interested in people who are interested in us naturally. It's just the way we are as humans. Find your 5 things and create your mini reality show. And I'm not talking Kardashians, but they're a good example, because talk about branding, you know? They have created their own brand, and a huge brand at that, for not really doing much. So you guys can change lives at the same time and build a brand and a very loyal following by sharing your life and making it to where someone can get to know you through just your posts without knowing you in person. I like the fact that when I get on the phone with somebody, people are like, I feel like I already know you. That's exactly what you want. You want them to feel like they already know what they're going to get with you because of the way that you post. Post add value, not to sell or recruit. That's a given. Lead with how you can better their life rather than how they can better yours. And I know that's tempting come the end of the month when it's like Success Club, but you've got to make sure that you're talking about the value that is going to be added to their life. That's what's going to get them to commit. When they feel pressured, that's what makes them run away. But when you really talk about all the exciting things that come with them joining the challenge group, they will get more excited about it and they will want to be a part of your group. Treat and talk to others as you would have them treat and talk to you. Golden rule, best rule in the world for business. If you just remember what it was like the first time someone talked to you about Shakeology, or the first, maybe you were lucky enough to have Carly and she was so awesome about getting to know you and showing you the value of Shakeology. Remember that. Remember the things that she told you that helped you to get rid of that fear of what if it doesn't work and so much money and all those objections that you might have had. And treat people like that. You know what it feels like to become a new coach, how overwhelming it is. Treat people, remember what that was like, and treat your new coaches like that and let them know, like, don't be fearful. I'm going to walk you through everything, like address their fears right from the get-go. And I promise you, you're going to have so much more success in this business. All right, I think I have 2 slides left, so don't be leaving me just yet. Oh, wait, 1 more slide. Perfect. Okay, so where I spend my time, and this is something people always ask me. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a breakdown real quick because this is super simple. I have 5 different areas. I like the number 5, I guess. But my personal development is huge for me. Okay, if I was still the same person I was 4.5 years ago, if I would have been like, okay, I got this, and didn't focus on personal development, I would still be slinging drinks behind a bar because I had a very big scarcity mentality, a lot of fear, a lot of jealousy, a lot of comparison, all those things that I told you not to do. Oh, I was that person, trust me. I have had to work through those things in my life. And because of the personal development, I am where I am today. So listening to the National Wake Up Call, listening to team calls, reading books to increase your strengths, watching YouTube videos for inspiration, or studying other great leaders, or sharpening your own knowledge base. P.S. I still go and watch other people's YouTube videos. I want to see how they're doing things. You have to stay hungry no matter what level you are at. It doesn't matter if you reach the top or not. If you reach the top and you think, I got this, you're going to fall very quickly. I constantly improve and look for ways to grow. Content creation is another important part. I mean, that is our job, to create content and put something out there that is worthwhile. So I would suggest you follow and study what other successful coaches post, define what your brand and niche market is, search for content that adds value to people's lives, create a folder to keep post ideas, post on a variety of topics and keep things fresh. Leadership development. Obviously, between your coaches, it can take a lot of your time, but I want you to spend it in 2 different areas. One of which is new coach training and the other is leadership training. With new coach training, I do 20-minute new coach calls. Once for my coaches, they have to have at least 1 or 2 successful points on the board. Their first sale has to be done. We do some group calls before that, but as soon as they have 1 sale, we get on the phone and we talk about all kinds of stuff. And I really get to know them and more personal goals and things like that. I consistently reevaluate my approach. So somebody who is going through a new coach training group today is not going through the same new coach training group we had 6 months ago, because I am constantly switching it up, like I said, to make it better, to make it simplified and easier. We use surveymonkey.com to get honest feedback. It's a free site. So what I like to do is I write up a quick survey of 10 questions, super simple for them. It's all anonymous, so they don't have to worry about me seeing it if they didn't like the training. But it gives me an honest feedback on where I need to improve things for. Simplify whenever possible, and I've already discussed that. Leadership development, same thing, 20-minute calls. We just go over their specific goals. I look over their Facebook to make sure I would know what their brand was if I was to not know them at all. I go through they have a survey on acuityscheduling.com that they have to fill out with some different questions and goals that they have before the call so that we can make that 20 minutes as effective as possible. We go and create milestones together. We do Zoom calls or conference calls as a team, which I know you guys do, to build team camaraderie and get to speak face-to-face and have a little more interaction between the team. We focus on duplication and keeping things simple, and I help them to discover their holdbacks and overcome obstacles. You have to be a coach. You have to be a coach because coaches get paid. Cheerleaders, they sit on the sidelines, and you are not a cheerleader. You are a coach. And then my fitness journey. Product of the products, living the lifestyle that exemplifies the message that I'm trying to send people. And actually after this, I have to go do my workout, even though it's gonna be 10 o'clock at night. So those are the 5 areas, and that has literally built my business. I have no secrets. There's nothing that I am doing. I don't pay for a website. I paid just recently, I upgraded from a $35 website to a $50 website. Ooh, I'm a big baller now. And I don't pay for any kind of mentorship or any kind of ads or any kind of search engine optimization, nada. This whole team has been built on a $50, up until recently, $35 website. And we make things super simple because I want my coaches to know that they don't have to go and invest $500 to be a successful coach. They could literally do it for $35. And even for free, if you want to use a blogger template, if you're going to do a blog. Videos, those things live on forever. So when you make a video, it stays on YouTube for years to come, and there's still people coming from videos I posted 4 years ago. So spend your time wisely. Learn a couple social media platforms that you're most compelled to use or that you know your niche market spends the most time on. Be you, be authentic, live this journey, be patient. Know exactly where you want to go and why you want to go there and stay committed to that. And just continue to believe in bigger things because I promise you, amazing things can happen. Oh wait, somehow there wasn't more slide. Okay, will you guys stay on for 5 more minutes? This is going to help you, I think. So, real quick, answer these questions truthfully, honestly, as much as you possibly can. What is the one activity I avoid in my business? Number 2, what is one area I waste too much time? For me, it's pick monkey. Number 3, what is one excuse that is holding you back right now? And by the way, excuses can be valid, but you can still overcome them. Because I had plenty of excuses not to succeed, right? But I overcame those, so everything is an excuse. Number 4, what is my main motivation for sticking to my success as a coach? Number 5, I know if I did this more, I would be further along. Number 6, in the last 60 days, I've made blank progress in my personal fitness goals. Oh, this one always kind of stings a little bit for some people. Number 7, I'm on top of my personal development blank % of the time. I believe if you answer those questions, you'll get a sense of where you need to improve and what things you need to do more or less of. And it'll help you to become a better coach. You already have all the answers, right? They're already deep within you, implanted in you. You know that what you're doing, sometimes when you're doing too much of it or too little of it, where you need to improve. But sometimes seeing it in front of your face helps you to learn and do better tomorrow. Last thing. I always talked about how as a kid, I felt like I was meant for more. I knew I was made for greatness. I knew I wasn't made for average. And this little quote here kind of struck me a couple years back, and I loved it. So it says, When I was a young man, I wanted to change the world. I found it was difficult to change the world, so I tried to change my nation. When I found I couldn't change the nation, I began to focus on my town. I couldn't change the town, and as an older man, I tried to change my family. Now, as an old man, I realized the only thing I can change is myself. And suddenly I realized that if long ago I had changed myself, I could have made an impact on my family. My family and I could have made an impact on our town. Their impact could have changed the nation, and I could indeed have changed the world. It really does start with you. It starts with you overcoming yourself, and by that, a few people become inspired, and those few people inspire a few other people, and those few people inspire a few other people, and what started with just one starts to impact hundreds, and then thousands, and possibly tens of thousands of people's lives. But you guys have got to be willing to make the change within yourself first, and then share that change with the world for it to start to spread. So understand that the ripple effect that you hold within you is greater than beyond anything you can imagine, but you got to be willing to live it and do the daily things every single day. I appreciate you guys doing one thing, and that's getting on this call and spending an hour with me. I am so proud to be a part of this team, to be a part of Team Beachbody, and I'm excited to see where you guys are a year from now. The sky is literally the limit. Brittany Leggett and Carly have proven that. So thank you all, and I'll see you again next week.